Hey there everyone, and welcome to another automotive maintenance episode of HET. So today we're going to be doing one of the things that all Subaru owners dread. That's right, we're going to be doing spark plugs. So a lot of owners dread this just because with the boxer layout of the engine, these things can be pretty tricky to get to. But we're going to see how bad a spark plug change actually is, and do a walkthrough on how exactly to do that. So follow me and I'll get right to it. So per usual, we'll start things off by taking off the intake snorkel and the battery. Now on the passenger side, we got to remove this air box and intake assembly. It's pretty easy. We got one bolt right there, one bolt right there. You can kind of see it. Those are both 12 millimeters, and then we got our assortment of tubes right here, and then of course our mass airflow sensor that we got to disconnect. So I'll go disconnect those and then we'll be on our way. Be careful not to damage the mass airflow sensor that's in there when you take the air box out. That will not go well for you otherwise. Alright, there she is. Relatively quick and painless. Okay, so we can see now we've got this wide open area here. After only about 5 minutes or so into this job. And already we can see, the two coil packs. So we got one white right here in the front. It's the white one. And then we can see the one with the black tab in the back. So black in the back, even rhymes. Now over here on the driver's side, things are a little bit more complicated. So we've removed the battery, and we can pretty much see the two coil packs. You got the one there and then the one back there. But we got this rat's nest of coils and or cords and connectors in the way. So on older model Subarus, thinking you're blob eyes, bug eyes, you're just gonna have like the washer reservoir over here, and it's a little tricky to take out. But once you take that out, they're pretty much right there. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of untangling here to get these out of the way, just to make a little bit more room. If you really wanted to, you could maybe do it without taking these out of the way, but I think that's more trouble than it's worth. So we're gonna take them out. Now before I go off taking these connectors, I do have a confession to make. I did take these connectors off beforehand just to make this part of the video a little bit easier. I probably struggled with this connector here for probably close to an hour. On these older cars, when they go through like so many heat cycles and just get a whole bunch of like grease and junk in there, they can get pretty hard to take off. In that case, some WD-40 and just careful prying with a screwdriver or pick is going to be your best friend. Just be careful not to stress the wires too much. Be patient about it. Eventually it'll come off. But with that being said, you know, we'll take this guy off. And this guy, push on the tab, pull. They come off really easy once they've, you know, been moved around a few times. And then if you follow this harness here, it's gonna have like these little, like kind of like weird, they're not quite zip ties, but they're like these clips that you just kind of have to like pull apart and then pull apart and then pry open, and that'll let this come out. And again, you got a few of them on here, so you just pull apart a little bit and then they'll release. Then moving over here, we got our alternator cable, which we're gonna unbolt. That's 12 millimeter. Make sure you keep track of where that bolt and washer go. Almost dropped it. All right, then after that, you'll have one more connector right here. I used a needle nose to get that out. Just kind of gently wiggle it back and forth. And then one more connector that goes into this thingamajig here. I don't know if you can kind of see it, but it's in there. It's a little weird because it's got like this connector that's, or this tab that's perpendicular to the way it pulls out, so just keep that in mind. Make sure you just kind of pull, you'll figure it out, just pull it straight out. But then we can start finagling these wires around. Oh, look, another little connector right here. Pull that out. Man, they didn't make this one easy to get your fingers around. There we go. There we go. All right. So just wiggle this guy around. Get him out of the way. And just kind of tuck it back there. Take this guy, wiggle that out of the way. It may help to have some like zip ties or something. But now we can see that we're a little bit more open in that area. It should give us easier access to those coil packs. All right, now with everything out of the way, we're ready to start removing the coil packs. So we're gonna start over on the passenger side just because it's a little easier. And it'll give us a nice, easy victory. Okay, get it on there. There we go. It's good to break these by hand, just so you're not stripping out any bolts. And then you can just hand them, thread them, or whatever the rest of the way. And then we got this other one over here. Make sure that you're on. This wire's getting in the way. Also, this thing popped out on its own. But that's another thing to watch out for. There's the front bolt. Let's see if we can unthread this guy the rest of the way. There she is. So this one is the front, this one is the back. You can see at the same length, so you can't really mix these up. And now we're ready to start pulling these guys out. Just kind of want to gently pull them out. Oh, yeah, watch out for that bracket. And then you kind of twist it around, turn it upside down, and then you can take them out. That came out nice and easy. Okay, and this bracket's attached to a wire, so I don't think we need to really worry about that guy falling down. Alright, and then this guy, and just kind of wiggle him out. You don't want to rip the boot. If you do, you're in some bit of trouble. So you want to be very gentle when you take these guys out. Here we go. That guy came out really easy. Nice. Okay. With that, kind of see our little holes there in the back, in the front. Sort of. Yeah, that's a better shot. Alright, now we're ready to start taking out the actual spark plugs. Okay, so I'll be using a standard, magnetic 5/8 socket and with a 2-inch adapter. So we're just going to kind of feel around in our hole until we get that on the socket, just like so. And then we'll get attached. And start. Come on. Gently torquing this guy loose. Now you want to be really careful with these guys, because if you strip out a spark plug socket, you are in for a very costly trip to either the machine shop or the somewhere that's going to cause you a lot of time and heartache. Alright, so something's loose. It still feels a little rough. Alright, it's getting easier, that's a good sign. Alright, and we managed to take out our spark plug in one piece. So it looks like they're actually halfway decent shape. You can still see the little white dot. You know, I mean, it is a little wet and oily. So there's probably some leakage in there. But overall, pretty good shape. Looks like it's, you know, owner must have actually taken decent care of these. Which is good to know, being the new owner of this car. Alright, now we'll go ahead and speed through getting out this rear spark plug. There's the rear spark plug. Whoops. Okay, so now we're back on to the driver's side. We're going to start taking out these coil packs. There's the front. There's the rear. Alright, and then kind of same as last time, we're just going to kind of gently wiggle these out, make sure we're not tearing into plugs. It's coming out nice and easy, beautiful. Oh boy. Well, she's out, but my gloves got caught. Okay. Beautiful. Alright, now we're ready to start taking out these plugs. Now, because it's so tight in there, we're going to be using a 1-inch wobble extension instead of our regular 2-inch. So then we'll just kind of fish this guy back down in there. Get in the hole. There we go. I'm just gonna have to kind of wiggle around till you find the spark plug. All right, now you do have to be careful with these wobble bits. I mean, you're not going to have as direct of a transmission of torque, so it's a lot easier to go at something from a bad angle and strip something out. But we're going to be careful, right? Okay, here goes nothing. Oh, man. You also lose a little bit of torque. Now we're gonna see if we can get our 2-inch extension on and going by hand. Oh, are you kidding me? Is our extension gonna be too long here? Alright, so we're gonna thread it back in a little bit. Alright, so now we're going to switch to our 1-inch extension. See if that'll give us any more clearance. That darn frame rail just wants to get in the way of everything. Alright, there you go. So 1-inch wobble extension to start it off, and then 1-inch regular extension to get it out by hand. Alright, and then we do have some more clearance in the front, so we're just going to go back to our regular 2-inch extension setup. So we'll get this broken loose. Oh boy. Whew. Alright. Oh man, that's dragging. Man, there's not a whole lot of wiggle room in here. Alright, she's getting nice. Nice and loose now. By hand. Alright, there's our last spark plug. Okay, so before we install the new spark plugs into our engine, we're going to go ahead and check the gap. So the spec should be 31 or 28 to 31 thou. Get this guy to focus. And this guy's coming in, yeah, right about 31 thou. So it's a little on the high side, but still within spec. So after that, we're going to go ahead and lube these up with some dielectric grease. This is just so that they slide on the boots a little bit easier. You don't need a whole lot here, just a little dab is plenty. And then you're just going to kind of go ahead and smear that all over the ceramic part. With the plug. Right around there is probably good. Just a little film. Alright, and then because I live in Wisconsin where we have 3 things guaranteed in life, death, taxes, and rust, we're going to use an itty bitty bit of anti-seize on the threads. Now usually they recommend you not do this, but as long as you're very careful not to strip out the threads when you're retightening these things, a little bit isn't going to kill you. You just want to be really careful not to get any on the leads. You want those leads clear of any debris. Otherwise, it's not going to work right. And then you got to do all the work we just did over again. And that's no fun. Okay. So you want about that much. Again, you're not a whole lot. Alright, let's go ahead and put these in the car. Okay, so reinstallation is basically the opposite of removal. So for our rear driver side spark plug, just going to go in really carefully with the spark plug adapter and 1-inch extension. Feed it into the hole. And then just start looking around threads. Start trying to thread it in there by hand. So you want to be careful not to cross thread, so you may have to wiggle it around a little bit before you get it the right angle. Just be patient, take your time. Eventually you'll get it in the right spot. There we go. Alright, once you kind of feel it start to bottom out, we're going to pull out our adapter, switch to our 1-inch wobble, and get ready to torque this guy down. Now, when you're doing this, you want to be very careful not to over tighten this, especially if you're using anti-seize. You're run at a not low risk of stripping out the threads, especially if you're going to be using wobbles and stuff like this. So you just want to kind of get it good and tight. Right about there is probably good. All right, and then the rest of them are going to be pretty easy. You're just going to use that 2-inch extension again. So start throwing them in by hand and then finish them off. Just getting them, you know, nice and snug, not too tight. So now all of our spark plugs are installed. Before we go reinstalling the coil packs, it's a good idea to clean off the connectors with some electrical connector cleaner. Then go ahead and clean any of the other connectors that might need attention while you're at it. For some of these stubborn connectors here, it might be good to throw on a little bit of dielectric grease just to get them extra lubed up in case they ever need to be disassembled again. But otherwise, we're ready to start putting these coil packs back on. So we got a connector here. We're gonna put on. Wait till we hear the click. Beautiful. Then kind of reverse of disassembly, we're gonna try to put them in upside down so that they can clear the frame. It's a little bit of a trick. There's not a whole lot of space, but we can do it. Now once you're in that socket, you're just going to want to kind of move around, wiggle, try to find the plug for the spark plug. Nice. All right. All right. I think that guy's getting on there. Go ahead and start putting our bolts back in. 12mm socket. Alright, say that's good and tight. So we got the black in the back, put in the white in the front, it's the same procedure. Put on our connector. Put it in upside down. This guy just kind of slides right in there. Find the plug. Bolt her down. All right. Coil plugs are on, or coil packs are on. And there's going to be the exact same procedure over on the passenger side. Okay, so with all of our coil packs in, the spark plug change is pretty much done now. We're just putting connectors back together. Various hoses and brackets. You know, you want to make sure you put the air box back on. And try to pay attention, you know, how stuff was routed before. But yeah, that's about it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, you know, make sure to like it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. As always, I'll have links to all the equipment and stuff that I used in the description below. Also, make sure to check out some of my other videos on the HET channel as well. So I have some other just general shenanigans with the Subaru that are a lot of fun. And then I have some other repair videos coming down in the pipeline as well as just some educational content on you know, how electricity works and other scientific stuff like that. Also, be sure to check out the HET on Facebook. There you'll see all the latest you know, HET content, as well as any charity events that we're doing. Help you kind of stay in the loop with what's going on. So as the time of this video is being made, the coronavirus pandemic still isn't over, although it's getting better. So make sure to support your local charities, because there's still pretty big need in a lot of communities, especially as people are still out of work and don't know you know, where their next paycheck or where their next meal might be coming from. All right, so with that, I'll try to end this on a positive note. You know, hoping all of your you know, car projects are going well. Keep on wrenching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.